Dear honorable students, we are still under portfolio management, and now we want to look at asset allocation. How do we allocate assets? We also look at the different strategies of allocating assets. When we are talking of asset allocation, this is a very important part of creating and balancing your investment portfolio. We have different types of assets such as stocks, bond, cash, and real estate. How do we allocate it in order to have the maximum income or revenue from your portfolio? After all, it is one of the main factors that lead to your what? To your overall return. Even more than choosing individual stock, establishing an asset mix such as stock, bond, cash, and real estate in your portfolio is a dynamic process. It's not something that is static. Sometimes bond might be more, sometimes stocks might be more, sometimes you might need to hold cash or cash asset or real estate more in your portfolio. It's not static. It depends on the situation you find yourself to know which mix is the best. And as such, the asset mix must reflect your goal at any point in time. So we try to look at several strategies we have in managing assets. We have strategic asset allocation as one of the strategies. When I'm talking of strategic asset allocation, this method establishes and adheres to basic policy means and a proportional combination of assets based on expected rate of return for each asset class. Let me come again. I said it is based on policy means, that is a proportional combination of assets based on expected rate of return for each asset class. You also need to take your risk tolerance and investment time frame into account when you are doing this. You can also set your target and then rebalance your portfolio every now and then. For example, if you have historically returned 10% per year and the bond have returned 5% per year, so a mix of 50% stock and a 50% bond will be expected to return 7.5% per year. So that's how you do your strategic allocation. Now, someone might ask me how this one comes about 7.5. What we are saying is, if stock yield 5%, yield 10% per annum, which is 0.1, and bond yield 5%. So, and you mix it in 50-50, that is 50% multiplied by 50%. So this one gives what? Give you 5 and give you 2.5%, making 7%. 7.5%. So that's about strategic allocation. You just have to determine the allocation based on the kind of returns you expect from each class. That's on that. The next one is constant weighting asset allocation. Constant weighting asset allocation. When we are talking of constant weighting asset allocation, you see that strategic asset allocation generally implies buy and hold strategy. Buy and do what? And hold strategy. And even in the shift in values of asset causes a drift from the initially established policy mix. For these reasons, you may prefer to adopt a constant weighting approach to asset allocation. With this approach, you continually rebalancing your what? Rebalancing your portfolio. For example, if one asset declines in value, you purchase more of that asset. If that asset increases, you will sell it. That is a constant rebalancing. You will not let a particular asset be more than what you expect it to be. Now, there is no hard and fast rules. Please, let's hold this one in your left hand. There is no hard and fast rules for timing portfolio rebalancing under strategic or constant weighting asset allocation. But a common rule of thumb is that the portfolio should be rebalanced to its original means when any given asset class moves more than 5% out of the original value. Whenever it is up to 5% out of original value, you rebalance it. Either you sell the excess or you buy more to it. That's on that. Now, there are other 6 allocation strategy that actually works. Part of the allocation strategy that works, aside the one we explain now, we have about 6 of them. The first one is tactical asset allocation. Over the long run, a strategic asset allocation strategy may seem relatively rigid. That is, when it is based on the returns you construct your asset mix or portfolio. Therefore, you may find it necessary to occasionally engage in short-term tactical deviations from the means to capitalize on unusual or exceptional investment opportunities. And this flexibility adds a market timing component to the portfolio, allowing you to participate in economic conditions more favorable for one asset than for others. And we are talking of tactical asset allocation. This can actually be described as a moderate active strategy. I say as what? As moderate active strategy. Since the overall strategic asset means is returned to when desired short-term profit are achieved, this strategy demands some disciplines, as you must first be able to recognize when short-term opportunity outrun their cost and then rebalance the portfolio to the long-term asset position. One thing is important, which I want you to know. That thing is that the assets in your mixed portfolio should reflect your goal at any point in time. The asset mix your portfolio must reflect what your goal at any point in time. That is that. The next one is what we call dynamic asset allocation. From the word dynamic, when something is not stable, when you are taking an active part in the market, you don't let your portfolio be staged or be structured following a certain index. No, it's when you're actively performing. So these are another active asset allocation strategy, which we know as a dynamic asset allocation. With this strategy, you constantly do what? Adjust the mix of assets as markets rise and fall, and as the economic strengthens and weakens. With this strategy, you sell assets that decline and purchase assets that increase. That is that. And the fact about this strategy is that dynamic asset strategy relies on portfolio manager judgment instead of target means assets. It relies on what? It relies on manager or portfolio manager judgment. Portfolio manager's judgment instead of the target asset means. Now, this make dynamic asset allocation the polar opposite of constant waiting strategy. For example, if the stock market shows weakness, you sell stocks in anticipation of further decrease, and if the market is strong, you purchase stock in anticipation of continuing market gain. You can see a different from constant. The other one we said, the constant waiting, that said that if asset is doing well, you sell it to come back. If it is not doing well, you buy more to it. But in this case, said that if an asset is not doing well, quickly sell it so that you can reduce your loss. And if asset is doing well, buy more so you can also improve your gains. So that is on that. We have the next one, which is known as insured asset allocation. And with an insured asset allocation strategy, you establish a base portfolio value under which the portfolio should not be allowed to drop. We call it what? it is you establish a base portfolio value under which the portfolio should not be allowed to drop. That is where the word insured actually comes from. And as long as the portfolio achieves a return above this base or its base, you exercise active management, relying on analytical research, forecast, judgment, and experience to decide which security to buy, which one to hold, which one to sell, with the aim of increasing the portfolio value as much as possible. And if the portfolio should ever drop to the base value, please know this, in case the portfolio drop to the base value, you invest in risk-free assets. You invest in what? Risk-free assets such as treasury bill, and other form of what? Of risk-free assets. So the base value becomes fixed. At this time, you will consult with your advisor to relocate or reallocate assets, perhaps even changing your investment strategy entirely if it need be. This type of a strategy, which we know as insured asset strategies, allocation may be suitable for risk-averse investors. It is good for risk-averse investors who desire a certain level of active performance or active portfolio management, but appreciate the security for establishing a guarantee floor below which the security is not allowed to decline. For example, an investor who wishes to establish a minimum standard of living during retire may find this type of strategy, that is insured asset strategy allocation, ideally suited to the management goal. That's on that. The next one is what we call integrated asset allocation. With integrated asset allocation, what for one thing is that you have to consider both your economic expectation and your risk in establishing an asset mix. While all of the strategy mentioned above account for expectation of future market returns, not all of them account for investors' risk tolerance. That is where integrated asset comes to play. This strategy include assets of all previous ones, accounting not only for expectation but also actual changes in expected or changes in capital market and your risk tolerance. Integrated assets is a broader asset allocation strategy, but it cannot include both dynamic and constant allocation, since an investor will not wish to implement two strategies that compete with one another. So that is a type of strategies we have. So what we want you to actually hold is that asset allocation can be achieved by varying degrees or strictly passive in nature. Passive in nature is that it just allows you to follow certain index which you don't actually want to change. And whether an investor chooses a precise asset allocation strategy for a combination of different strategies depends on that investor's goals. Depends also on the age. It also depends on the market expectation and the risk tolerance. I say whichever strategy you select depends on your age, depends on your goal as an investor, also depends on market expectation and risk tolerance. So if you are asked what are the factors that determines your asset means, it's your age, your goal, your market expectations, and lastly your risk tolerance. And you have to put it in mind that all these are only general guidelines on how an investor may use asset allocation as a part of their core strategies. Be aware that allocation approaches that involve reacting to market movement require a great deal of expertise and talent in using particular tools for timing this movement. Perfectly timing the market is next to impossible, right? So make sure your strategy is not too vulnerable to unforeseen error. So that's the advice and what you also need to know by the time you are mixing your asset in your portfolio. So that is on that, on portfolio, so on asset allocation and strategies. Thanks for listening.